Hello, everyone, and welcome to this series on using um, GCP, Google Cloud Platform APIs in your machine learning projects. So, in my opinion, I think GCP offers some of the best products and services for machine learning, data science, and data engineering. So, there are tools like products like Vertex AI for building machine learning pipelines. There are APIs like speech to text, which helps you to convert speech into text. So you don't have to build a model from scratch. You just specify what your audio file is, and then this API will just transcribe the speech into text. There's also text to speech. There's time series API, translational AI, video AI, vision AI for object detection. So there are a whole lot of tools that you can use to make your work easy. So if you have for example, the speech to text API, which we'll be looking at in this video, if you have some audio files and you want to transcribe or translate them into text, you don't necessarily have to build a model from scratch and then waste weeks of trying to perfect the model. Just use the API, and then which has it already uses a model that has been trained by Google, so you know it's going to be very good. So just use the API and then get your results, and yeah, just make your work easy. So we'll be looking at this speech to text API in this video, and so the speech to text API helps you to convert speech into text, and it helps you to transcribe your content, uh, deliver best user experience. So you can infuse this in your application. So you can see that this has already been infused in some application. And yeah, so this is one of the APIs we'll be looking. So this is the API we'll be looking at in this video. In subsequent videos, we'll be looking at other APIs. So before you can use the speech to text API, obviously you need to have a GCP account. I have a video which already shows you how to set up a GCP account. I'll put the link to that video in the description, and then you can watch and then come back to this video. The next thing you have to do after setting up your GCP account is you have to install Gcloud CLI. So Gcloud CLI helps us to issue commands from our command line and then interact with GCP services. So there are installation instructions for various distributions. So Linux, Debian, Red Hat, Mac OS, and Windows. So based on your distribution, go ahead and then follow the instructions and then install Gcloud. All right. So yeah, so I think that's it for installation. So let's go ahead and then see how we can translate or transcribe our speech into text. So for this video, I'm going to use an audio file of Barack Obama, and what he says is, "Damn, I'm late for class." So I can play that.
Damn,
Damn,
I'm late for
I'm late for
class.
class. So damn, I'm late for class. So
Damn, I'm late for
I'm late for
class.
class. All right, so that's what he's saying. So we want to transcribe this speech into text, right? So let's go ahead. So how do we do that? So at this stage, um I assume that you follow the video to set up a GCP account. You have installed the Gcloud CLI. The next thing we are going to do is to actually create a credentials, right? So we go to this and go to API and services and credentials, right? Now you may have to set up a project when you first create your GCP account. Usually it gives you my first project, but if there is nothing there, then you have to create a new project and then make sure that you are selected, that project you want to use is selected, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and then create our credentials. So we'll say create credential. We'll create a service account. So a service account enables app level authentication. So it enables us to authenticate our computer and then use GCP commands and GCP services using the service account. So I'm going to say service account name. I'm going to use my first name. All right. And then, so yeah. So um, this is my email address for the service account and service account description. So I'm just going to click continue, select a role. I'm going to select owner so that I'll have full access to most Google Cloud resources, right? Click continue. If it says fail, just go ahead and then click continue again and then done. Right. So so permissions, let me see the permissions. So as you can see, I'm the owner of the service account. So let's go back to service account again. Click service account again. Now we need to create a key for the service account. So I'm going to create a new key. It's going to be a JSON file. And then I need to download and put this key in my on my computer. So I'm just going to remove all these numbers and then click save in some location, right? Now this key is very important, so make sure you are not putting this key in any cloud repo where people can access it, right? So nobody should have access to this key. If anyone has access to this key, it can control all your GCP account and your GCP resources, right? So the next thing I'm going to do, what's the next thing I'm going to do? So I'm going to create an environment variable. So I'm going to export this service account key into my environment, right? So for Linux, it's export. I think for Windows, it is set. So Google application credentials, right? So we have export Google application credentials, and then that would be equal to my service account key, right? And then now I need to authenticate my service account or log in into Gcloud using this service account. So Gcloud auth activate service account. All right. Now we need to go and then copy that this email. So copy that. Go back to the terminal. Paste that. Right. And then we specify a key file. So the key file is the name of the service account key. All right, so I'm going to copy that, put that in here, and then we have activated service account credentials for this, right? So this is the output you should see. Now, so how does the speech to text API work? So what's the workflow? So we would specify a storage location that contains our audio file, and then we pass that audio location into our speech to text API, right? So we pass the location of that audio file into the speech to text API, right? So so we need a location to store the audio file, right? And then we are going to store this audio file in a Google Cloud bucket. So Google Cloud bucket is just a storage location, right, where you can store your files on the cloud. So let's go ahead and create a bucket. You can create a bucket using the GCP interface, but you can also use commands. So gsutil mb stands for make bucket. We can specify a class. So there are different classes of buckets. So we have standard and some other classes. You can check the documentation to see what classes of GCP buckets we have. The location of the bucket, I'm just going to specify US Central 1. And then we have to create a bucket. So I'll say Cloud Speech API. Now the bucket's name should be unique, right? So usually I just add these numbers of my project ID to whatever name that I want to use. And most of the times it's very unique. So after doing that, it says creating this bucket. If we go back to our GCP UI cloud storage browser, you see this bucket has been created. So after this bucket has been created, we can copy our audio file into this bucket, right? So let's go back here, and then still using the gsutil command, we say copy. Damn, I'm late for class. And then we copy the bucket name that and it has been copied. So we can go back to the bucket and then check the contents of the bucket. So we have damn, I'm late for class, right? All right, so now let's see how we can use the speech to text API. I'm just gonna clear, let me just leave that. So let's see how we can use the speech to text API. So to use the speech to text API, we have to enable it, right? I think I have used it in my account before, so it's already enabled. Otherwise, you can just enable it with this command. So enable speech dot google apis.com. So we have Gcloud service enable speech dot google apis.com, and when you click enter, so I think it's already, so you don't see anything, but the first time there'll probably be some output or to say if it has been enabled or not. Okay, so yeah, I think we can also check if it has been enabled. So we can check speech. So we have speech to text. Enable API. I think but usually it should be enabled. All right. So if you go to the UI and it's not enabled, just click enable API. Yeah. The next thing we have to do is send a push request, right? So we'll send a push request. So I'll use curl to send a push request to this API, and then yeah, and then we'll see. Let's see how that works, right? So before we can send a push request, we have to specify a request.json file, right? So the request.json file contains the 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 URI, or where our audio file is located, right? So I'm gonna say touch request.json, and then I'm gonna say gedit. So gedit or whatever editor you want to use. So request.json. Right. So I have my request.json file opened here. Right. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna specify some configuration first. So I'm gonna say config, and then we have some encoding. So the encoding of the file it's a flat file, and then we have the language. Right. See how if I can make this a bit bigger. Anyway, I hope you can see. I'm just trying to make it a bit bigger. Anyway, you can find the all these commands in the GitHub repo. So if you cannot see because of the font size, you can just go and then copy it. So we have language code. It's English US. So close this curly bracket. The next one we have is, so the audio is where I will specify the location of my audio file. So, and then it will be URI. So this is the location of my audio file. So we can go back to our bucket, and then so cloud storage browser, cloud speech API. If we click that, so we can just copy that, go back here, and then put that in here, right? And then let's just close all the brackets, right? So just to make sure I didn't make any mistake, language, code, en, audio, gs, whatever, right? So this is our configuration. So I'm gonna close that. The next thing, so the last thing we have to do is to send a curl to this to our speech API using this configuration that we just wrote. So we say curl, we send a post request. There has to be some headers, so some authorization header. So that would be that will use the access tokens that we have already set, right? So this is how we set the authorization. So we say authorization bearer, right? And then we have to put this in quotation. So we want we are not going to directly type the access token in there. So we want Google Cloud to get the access token. So we say Gcloud or print access token. So this is going to print the access token and pass it into the authorization bearer, right? We close that. And then we also have another header. So the header is this time is a content. So we have content type, and then it's application /JSON, right? And then we have data binary. So the data binary would be the request file that we just the JSON file that we just created. And then what is our endpoint? So our endpoint is HTTPS speech .google apis.com/version1/speech, right? Recognize. Okay, so I don't think I have made any mistakes here, but check anyway. I don't think this is right. All right. Yes. So moment of truth. So let's see if this works. All right, so it says yeah, so we made an error in our JSON file. So let's go back to our JSON file and let's see what mistake we made. Request.json. So here, the language code, language, yeah. So it's that language code, right? So let's run that again. And yeah, so it works now. So we can see the results. It says the transcript is I'm late for class. It didn't transcribe the dem, but that is okay. And then the total build time 15 seconds. You have the result in time. You can actually put this in another file. So I can push this output into another file called results.json, so that when I go here and then I open my result.json, I can see my transcript and then whatever I all right, so this is how you can use the Google Cloud text to speech API. So hopefully you have enjoyed this lesson. So go ahead and then see if you can transcribe your own speech. And yeah, you can leave a comment on this video if you have any problems related to setting up your account or installing Gcloud or some commands not working. And I'll see you in the next video.